And I know you work with a lot of buyers.
Yep.
You had a great year last year, despite the real estate market being down. You had your best year in real estate, which congratulations to that. But I know that when we're meeting with sellers, a lot of times the sellers like, how's the market? What do I need to get my home sold? You've listed a lot of homes. I've listed a lot of homes. And they get nervous, right? Because they don't know or understand a lot of these numbers because they're comparing their home to what their neighbor sold for.
Right.
So they're like, what do I have to do to get my home sold?
Right.
And the good news is that we came up with a great list. We have five different things for you here that we'll go over with you about pricing it. And Nikki and I talked about it earlier. But Nikki, why don't we tee a few of these up and help some people out that are looking to get their home sold, what they can do to move their home a lot quicker than having to sit on the market for 120 days or more.
So definitely pricing it right is most important. Definitely. You have to take into consideration the fact that, for example, there are 28 homes right now listed.
Or 2,800.
Yeah, 2,800, I'm sorry. Yeah. So pricing right for sure.
Yeah, and again, you want to price it at or just below market value to be competitive. And pricing's everything. And a lot of times people say, well, maybe it's the marketing, right? So right away, a lot of people, Anthony Almanki, a good friend of mine, he's a realtor out of Boston. He said, real estate agents get more credit when a home sells fast, and they get the least amount of credit when it just sits there, right? On what they do. And it's because a lot of this with the pricing, like the marketing works. We have a listing now. We've had over 18 showings on it. We've had over 60 people through the open houses that have come through. And we're pretty close to an offer right now. We're actually negotiating something right now. But my point with that is that if you're not competitive, you don't stay competitive, like Nikki said, with pricing, you're just going to sit there and you're only going to help other properties sell faster, right?
And also too, sellers have to, what's your motivation? Like if you're in a situation you have to sell, you need to be more competitive.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So pricing it right is so important. Obviously you want to have a great location and you want to have your, condition in your home looking great. But pricing is definitely number one, I feel. So that's a great one to start with. What's the next step?
The next one is staging your home. And I feel in Florida, a lot of people, it's their second home. So whether they've left and it's a vacant home, it's important to get the right staging.
Right.
People have a hard time envisioning, what a dining room would look like. So that's why, we use great ways to stage homes, whether it's a company or virtual, whatever the seller wants to do.
I was reading a stat the other day that it said that if you stage your home, you're likely to sell your home for 5 to 20% more than if you didn't stage your home. And if you look at it, even if you take 5%, on $1 million, that's $50,000 more, right? That's $75,000 more on a 1.5, which is what a lot of us in Old Cypress are. So when you take a look at that, why would you not stage your property? And we still see homes that are out there that are vacant, that don't look really well, right? No. Sometimes agents just either they don't give that advice to them or they don't know what to do. And sometimes sellers don't want to pay the extra money for staging, right?
Yeah.
But we definitely highly encourage it. So that's plan A. Plan B would be you could do virtual staging too.
Yeah.
Because 97% of buyers go online first before they even talk to a real estate agent.
Right.
And they're looking at those photos. So we can actually take a vacant room and we can actually virtually stage it and put all the furniture and paintings and make it look really, really nice and do a virtual. So if you're not going to stage it, at least do the virtual staging piece of it.
Yeah, it's definitely more affordable to go that route for sure.
All right, what else you got?
So offering incentives to buyers.
So a great incentive, I feel, is anytime you can offset some of the closing costs for a buyer, that's always great to do, whether it be their closing costs or whether it be paying their buyer agent fee. I even saw something the other day where it said they'll pay their HOA fees for the next year or two, right?
Yeah.
But those are some incentives. What are some other incentives? Do you ever see any for the agents?
So, yeah, definitely. I see most of the HOA fees getting, covered for sure. As far as agents,
like sometimes you'll see an agent bonus out there. Sometimes that sellers will do.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can do as far as giving some incentives out there, because you want to set your property apart from the rest of the competition. So those are some different examples on that. What else you got?
High quality photos.
Oh, this is a good one.
Videos, drones, all of it.
I had an agent the other day who said, that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and take photos with a camera, with their phone, their cell phone. And I said, how could you compare that to these beautiful professional photos that are done, right? So photos are very important. And I know we have a great photographer that we use, but not only photography, what else does he provide?
Yeah, so back to the staging, you could stage rooms, you could drones, video through the house. Yeah, I mean, you know, in Florida, a lot of these buyers, they're not from Florida.
Right.
So it's important to show them the home without them, you know, having to fly here, come here.
Yeah, that's
So
a great
with
point.
videos going through the house, they feel like they're in the house.
Right, great point. All right, I think we got one more on here.
Yeah, this one's important. Being flexible with showings and negotiation, everything. You know, you could say you're motivated to sell your home, but if someone wants to see it at 8 a.m. on a Sunday,
Right.
you better
get out.
You better
get out of your house.
Get out of your house.
Let us show it for sure. That is true, though. You got to be flexible, and we've had, especially if you have tenants, that's the worst thing.
No.
Where you have tenants that are in your property, and you want to put your house on the market. So we had that example actually happen not too long ago, where someone wanted to list. They had their home listed, and they said, "Hey, Willie, what do you think about us renting it for 2 months while we try to sell it?" And I was like, absolutely not. That's the worst thing you could do, because tenants are not motivated like a seller would be to sell their home. And it's just not a good look, right? You're going to have stuff not where you want them. It's not going to show as well. And I highly recommend that you don't have a tenant. But if you're going to be in there, make sure you're flexible on showings. Make sure, things are in showroom condition. And it's a pain in the neck to sell your property for sure. But it does make a big difference.
Yeah, and I think, in this market too, you have to know people are going to offer you less.
Right.
It's a buyer's market. So as far as the negotiation end, you have to be open to, don't get offended, but be open to all offers.
Right, that's a great point. I've had sellers say that too, where like, don't even counter back, like it's not even worth it, and they just get upset.
Yeah.
And they take it personal, and you really can't, and that's why you hire real estate professionals to take that emotion out of it. So, well, Nikki, thank you very much for putting this information together, and I see 2025 as being a great year. That's a forecast that I'm seeing, and I'm going with it.
Me too.
And hopefully interest rates do make a difference here and drop down a little bit, which will help increase the sales. The other thing, I mean, we talk about interest rates, and I'll just leave on this too. Last year in Collier County, 57.6% of sales that closed were cash deals versus financing. So that's something to consider too. We're still in a very high cash and demand type of inventory that's out there and sales that are out there. So that's something that's really good for us moving forward into 2025.
For sure.
All right, so if you're interested in possibly finding out what your home is worth, or you're interested in taking a look at some of the things that you can do, that's one of the things that Nikki and I do. We'll come over, we'll take a look, give you some ideas on what to do, but more importantly, what not to do to get your home sold. And all you have to do is just give us a call. You can call our number, 239-292-2887, or visit our website at Miranda Real Estate Group, Florida.com, and then start packing.